So Falguni, everybody has been hit with this, and what options do you think do employers have, keeping in mind the economic impact of the pandemic in the business right now?
I think these small business owners in UK, USA, Canada are benefiting from the support that their government are offering to stimulate through their stimulate plans. For instance, in UK, the government can get up to the businesses can get up to GBP 25,000 from the government to support themselves. There's also tax waivers which have been offered by the business to the business houses in the UK. The governments are also providing support to businesses by providing statutory sick pay up to 80% if they are retaining the staff. So we speak to the clients and make them aware of these plans and the policies that the governments are announcing at different countries, and maybe they can take help of this government assistance that's been provided to the business houses to in this difficult times, basically. So I think that's basically the options available to the employers.
Right. Okay. So keeping that in mind, since everybody is working from home right now, uh, it also involves taking care of a lot of other responsibilities. We don't have any help right now, so so I just wanted to know that how should employers deal with this issue, which is constantly arising?
Sure. I think, Surbhi, there is a need for both employers and employees to be responsible and dedicated in these times. Just as it is incumbent on the employers to support the employees are equally responsible for being dedicated towards their job and going that extra mile, so that the companies uh, so that they can get the results for which they are aiming at. They can meet their targets, etc. The companies who have all in past experienced on telecommunicating or remote working are in a better position now, and I think the new companies are learning quickly, so they are getting there very quickly now. I think the way the webinars, the Zoom meetings are happening at a very fast pace, I think people have kind of adapted so quickly.
Right.
So businesses are moving on. There's really no stop still to the work or the businesses as such.
Right. I totally agree to that. The show must go on.
Yeah.
And all right. So Hemang, we had the presentation right now, and I just wanted to know that what is the impact of this pandemic on the investor visas, specifically on the investor visas?
Right. As we covered before, the countries are will be looking at getting some kind of a support, to help the economies, to help the businesses to kind of grow up, and they will be able to do this on the basis of the investor visas itself. So, for example, Malta has when you want to get a Maltese passport, you need to pay about 650,000 euros to the Maltese government. Now, the Maltese government puts this money into what's known as a National Development Fund. And this is kind of like their rainy day fund, which they would use when there is a calamity or anything like that, which is where they are at right now. And according to a report which was published, the Maltese government has about €1 billion right now, which is in reserves, primarily because of the citizenships that they're selling. So, countries will benefit by having funds like these, because this is extra money that they get by screening people and by getting people into coming to the economies and adding value, and they're able to control this flow of people. So Greece is allowing a PR with an investment of about 250,000 euros, and Portugal ran a similar program, and they've got 4 billion euros in terms of investment into cities like Lisbon, Porto, Madeira, which has helped the tourist economy, which has helped the accommodation market and all the rest of it. So there are tangible benefits that the countries will benefit from in light of this. So they we will look at this, and in fact, there was also a report that as a part of the U.S. stimulus, the Trump administration was considering increasing the number of EB-5s visas from 10,000 to 75,000, and reducing the investment amount from $900,000 to $450,000. So Whether it kind of passes through the Congress or not is something to be seen, but definitely the thought is there, to attract more investors.
Right. So they're easing in the immigration programs.
And well, there's discussions around it because obviously immigration tends to be a lot more political as well when you discuss it. It's not cut
Right.
and dried. So whilst there is an economic benefit, countries also have to look at how they are looking in terms of the politics. So we might see certain smaller countries or other economies in Europe being a bit more proactive, while as the bigger economies like the US may take some time to kind of find their feet in.
Right. Perfect. So keeping that in mind, what is it that you think that the investors should consider during this crisis?
And so as we discussed that the investors will be looking at different parameters, like what is the tax implication, what is the benefits that they get and all the rest of it. But more importantly, investors now will have to look at what is going to be the support that the government gets. So for example, with the US, they had a $2 trillion stimulus. The United Kingdom has about 450 billion pounds in terms of stimulus. So businesses are going to get support. So as Falguni said, businesses in the UK, they can get up to 25,000 pounds in terms of support. They have a tax holiday in certain industries. They are not having to pay business rates and taxes and stuff like that. So what investors will look for is what is the value they can get with their investment in. Also, we've got a few guys asking on the chat in terms of, how the EU countries depend heavily on tourism and they will have to evolve from here. So that is true that they do depend on tourism, but the good part about EU is that given the way their borders are structured, they will always have preferential in terms of local tourism. So with the UK as well, for example, whilst they do expect that international travel to the UK from tourism perspective will be affected, but UK is likely to benefit a lot more from local tourism from within the UK itself, which will help them to bridge this gap because local tourists pay more, they're easier to manage. They're not looking for the kind of deals that people from outside are looking at, whether they're from China or South Asia or something like that. So tourism will adapt in that sense. So, concepts like social distancing, how you're going to plan your holidays around this and all of that will come through, kind of a thing. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, they could kind of, get their immunity passports, which is, like in India, we have the Arogya Setu app and a lot of other countries have their own apps, to say that the guys are not affected. People could use their immunity passport along with their regular passport to get access to one place or the other. So, that's something that we could possibly look at now.
Right. Okay. Perfect.